I like vulnerable human robots. Robots that have vulnerable human similarities.
Yeah.
That's my jam. I love that. Like robots hiding. It's just something about it that just I don't know why it sounds really weird.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like there was a robot doing like Tai Chi. I'm like, yes. Why is he doing Tai Chi?
Yeah.
Who cares? It's a robot.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Polygon Forest. I am Ubisoft concept artist Vin Hill, and I am joined, as ever, by indie developer Mr. Christopher Jarvis.
Hello.
Hello, and today we have got some E3 has started. E3's back, baby, but it's not E3. Rest in peace. It's like the Summer Games Fest, whatever Jeff Keighley is going to turn into a commercial to make you drink Mountain Dew or whatever the hell he does thing. But it's exciting. Like June's upon us now. Video games are starting to get shown, which is really, really cool. We've probably got a whole month of this, so strap in, folks. Chris, how's it going, sir?
It's going very good. What an intro. That's a bit bleak start. But yeah.
Well, you know.
It's going good, yeah. We're going to talk about the Sony State of Play. We're going to talk about Sonic Frontiers. But yeah, it's going well for me. Nothing much to report indie game-wise. I was on holiday for my brother's wedding.
Slacker.
So yeah, I've been relaxing and just having a good time.
Slacker.
Which makes a change from doing video games.
Yeah, indeed.
But I'm excited about all the new stuff that we've seen, video games wise, and yeah, so it's gonna be a good time to do a podcast, I think, about video games.
Indeed.
How have you been, Vin?
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, the indie game is going. It's going. Like I made a good milestone yesterday, so I'm feeling good about it. Today I'm going to be recording my first devlog. I'll see how the hell that goes. I'm going to be uploading that over the next couple of days. So if you are interested, then go and check that out at Hillfort Games. But yeah, other than that, it's smooth sailing in terms of games development. Just chipping away at stuff as always. But
what was the milestone?
It was just like a personal milestone. There's something I wanted to get out of the way, which was like all of my core puzzles. Like I've sort of created them all individually so far, but yesterday I sort of hooked them all up so they're actually all connected now. So you can do one thing after the other, which sounds like an arbitrary thing to the normal person, but to me it was just like, yes, it feels like a game, sort of thing.
Very powerful feeling when you get that. Yeah, because it's part of the core gameplay. So it's like what makes a video game. Yeah, you're plugging that in and making that work. That's quite a big move. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so I'm feeling pretty good about it. I'm not gonna probably won't be showing too much of that stuff off because I don't want to ruin it. Basically, I still want people to actually play the game and try it out. Like when the demo is finished for the vertical slice, towards the end of the year. So yeah, once it's going to be difficult to sort of cover the game. Like once I've got all the core mechanics out of the way, it's just. But it's not at the same time because once I've gotten all of the core stuff out of the way, all of the puzzles and stuff, it's then just making the game look pretty, and I can do a lot of updates based on how the game's going to look. So I'll just be shifting my perspective on it so people also will understand it. But I'm excited. It's feeling good. It's feeling a lot more like a game now. So it's all good progress. So yeah.
Nice.
I don't know.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be looking forward to get this bit out of the way when I can switch over to just like the visual side of stuff because I'm kind of sick of coding. Like I've been out of the loop in terms of like creating artistic content for the game outside of animation work. So I'm kind of excited to get back into just making some trees and stuff and making broken cars in 3D. Like I'm really excited to get back into that now. Like I'm sort of itching to get back to it.
That's like your concept art trope, isn't it? It's like when people finally get around to actually drawing trees and rocks. It's like, a bit of greenery. Finally, I can draw some nice, peaceful things. Yeah. So yeah, no, that's nice.
Soon I shall be out of Visual Studio and back into Photoshop and Blender and stuff. So yeah,
and that should be easy, right? Because that's like, I don't need to think about that sort of stuff for you, I guess, these days. It's more like...
Yeah, I guess. I mean, composition-wise and conceptually, yeah, I guess that's true. But for the actual 3D production of stuff, like I'm not a 3D artist. Like I can do 3D. I'm not that proficient at it. So it's something that I'm going to get better at as I sort of go through the project as well, obviously. But there's still quite a bit to learn. But it's an exciting time just purely because not knowing how to do stuff is fine. But I'm excited to learn it. So that's the important part, I guess.
Yeah. Learning new things and having that string to your bow and part of your repertoire and
it's the beauty. Yeah,
becoming known for it is really exciting stuff, isn't it?
I mean, it's less about the being known for it, but that's the most attractive thing about being a solo dev, I guess, is the whole being able to learn new things and being excited about learning the things and stuff. It's
and you're in control of what you want to put forward.
Exactly.
Like, I'm going to put forward some cool pixelated moss now, and that's what I'm going to show you, and that's what you're going to be interested in. And I had that control to do that.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah, that's good times.
Indeed.
I guess we should talk about some other games.
Let's talk about some games. Yeah, there's been a lot shown this over the last week. But before we get to the big news, which is obviously around Sony and their state of play, no, I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to spoil it with my opinions too early. We'll talk about that soon.
Okay.
But there was another game shown, which people are very excited about, Chris. They just can't wait for this thing. It's and it's something that everyone was asking for years as well. Like, everyone really wanted this game. But yeah, just Sonic Frontiers. I mean, I am like, can you believe they finally made an open world Sonic game? Like, it's something that everyone's always wanted. I'm trying here.
Yeah, it's certainly like evidence to the dark timeline theory. Yeah, we are in the dark timeline, and an open world Sonic is part of that timeline. That checks out. Yeah. No one thought this was... the people that are making the game, none of them must have thought this would be good.
Yeah.
Surely.
Or
maybe they had good intentions, and things are very difficult to make. Things are very, very difficult to make, Vin. The game's not out yet. We're doing things that we hate, judging before the game's out. But with all that being said, I didn't see anything that looked fun.
Yeah, I mean...
or interesting. The aesthetic is cool.
Yeah, I mean, to an extent, but it looks very empty. That's the thing that I keep coming back to. It just feels very devoid of stuff. And I'm the older I get, the more I get sick of this idea of like, oh, the map is, X size. And it's like, okay, what do you do in that map that makes it warranted
size
that?
It's not impressive. It's what you do with it. Yeah. That's the main thing.
I'd much prefer a tiny map, which is super dense and, like every single like area that you go into has got stuff to do. Like I'd prefer a game like that versus just vast open landscapes. And I get it, like it's Sonic, right? Like he can run around and he can like glide through these landscapes really, really fast, which is all good and well. It's just, like how much can you run around and that be fun? Like I'm sure it's fun at first, but it's not like Spider-Man where you're gliding through the air and you're dodging buildings and there's that whole sort of dynamic to that, like that of skill that you need. If you're just running along the floor and sliding on these rails that are like literally a rail, so it's not like you can mess up on the rail
once you're on your own. Yeah, it's not like you've got a balance mechanic like in Tony Hawk's or anything.
Yeah, so it just, I don't know.
I think there is a way to make it fun. Like, I'm thinking, if I was going to do... You asked me the question beforehand, and I've had time to think about it.
Yeah.
In the pre-show. It's like, how do you make an open-world Sonic game fun? Like, a character that was designed in the 90s for 2D. How do you make that fun in a 3D environment?
Yeah.
And I did have time to actually think about that between then and now. And I think the way we do it is with GTA.
Sonic GTA?
So GTA
is that what you're pitching right now?
GTA, when they have the multiplayer and they get the vehicles and they build those environments that are like up in the air. So you build maps where, like Tony Hawk's maps, the best Tony Hawk's maps from Tony Hawk's 1 to 3.
Yeah.
You build the lines. So you build where you're going to be grinding on the rail. You build where they're going to use the ramps in certain order. And you basically build like a horse game where you got to get either maybe tricks or get to the spray cans or find all the tapes in a certain run.
Yeah.
And then you have the fun in finding the different lines in a 3D environment that's dense. Doesn't have to be huge. It can be like the size of a Tony Hawk's map. And basically, the game is finding the cool lines, and like people will be creative in that. And you get points based on how creative you can be with where you traverse in the game.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the way I would tackle it. I'd try and combine it with some sort of skating games.
Yeah, this just screams. Like, I mean, you're asking me the question, what do I think in terms of how they should handle an open world Sonic game? I know exactly how they should handle an open world Sonic game, and that is don't do it. You know, like this doesn't fit this genre. It just doesn't. Like nobody in that meeting was like, yeah, let's make the Breath of the Wild of the Sonic universe, because unlike Link, sorry, gotta get my words out. Unlike Link, Sonic literally can run and spin and grind on a rail, and that's about his repertoire, which is fine.
Bounce on a spring.
But yeah, you can bounce on springs. My bad. Sorry, I didn't mean to take that critical skill away from him. But I know I'm just trashing Sonic right now. But I'm not trashing Sonic. That's the thing. Like, it works within the parameters that you give him. So if he's like on a side scroller, or if he's in a linear based level system where you're going along a track where it's like a half racing game just to keep momentum and stuff. Like that all kind of makes sense. But in terms of like an open world game, I can't see. I just don't see it. Like I'm looking at the footage right now, and it's just Sonic going through a grassy landscape. Yeah.
I was thinking, why coins? Why are you picking up floating coins? Like, what's wrong with rings?
Yeah,
like,
right.
Why are they changing that? Like, what makes the coins different to the rings? Is it to do with the story? It better be a good reason, because why are you messing with something that's so arbitrary, but with such a fandom? Like, to take away the whole rings aspect from Sonic, that was like, back in the day, it was like Mario collected coins and Sonic collected rings, and it was different just because it was different.
Yeah.
Back when games were collecting things, and like how much points you could get meant how good you did in the level, like when you got given a time to complete and the points that you won in the game. Points aren't really in games these days, not in terms of like, here's the number of points you achieved, well done. Like that's never really in games anymore, unless they're super casual. But back in the day, Sonic was like, Sonic at the time was the AAA game. That was like the big budget for, the fans of the consoles. So it was like a console game.
Yeah, I mean, it literally sold the Sega Mega Drive for them. Like, that was the thing.
Yeah.
It's like the halo of its time, and there's nothing. Yeah. It just doesn't belong in an open world setting, in my opinion. Like, who knows? Like, I could be completely wrong. This game could come out and sell gangbusters, and everyone's loving it. But it just, like, artistically, the game looks fine, but it's so uninspired that it's hard.
I don't know what you do. It doesn't look. I don't know what you do.
Right. This isn't Green Hill Zone. This isn't like.
No.
Like where are the loop-de-loops and all that sort of stuff? Like where are the, where are the waterfalls and all that sort of cool stuff that you had in like the game from 1991. A game that came out 30 years ago. Like how
are the piranhas jumping out over the bridges?
Right.
Eating
and why aren't I hitting them as they come up and stuff and all this? There's so much they could do with it, and they just like it's this dry sort of. It looks like it's been made by a fan in Unreal Engine without any sort of art director whatsoever. It just feels very strange to me. I don't really like. I know I'm absolutely trashing this thing, but who knows?
Or maybe like maybe a level designer it doesn't look like it. It looks like someone's gone, I'm going to design this bit, and I'm going to design this bit, and I'll do the rails, and the rails are just floating in the air for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
And once you get to the end of the rails, I don't understand the reason why you get like why do I want to go from there to there? It feels like it's going to get boring real quickly. Like once you've gone on one rail, you've been on them all. If the reason is only to collect some coins.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, fine, but it doesn't. It's not shown anything about the payoff or the story or anything. Like, what's Sonic's motivation? I know it sounds really silly when you say that, because I'm left asking those questions because it doesn't look like it's going to be fun to just run about. It just doesn't look like it's going to be fun to do that. So it looks like a trick is being missed somewhere. Hopefully, it's just bad marketing and they're not showing the best side of the game.
Hopefully. Yeah, I mean, the game is... I'm going to go and look up when the game is actually due out. I'm pretty sure it's quite soon. That's the only thing.
But yeah, Sam Webster, who does the Indie Dev Roundtable on the Polygon Forest, he was tweeting his dismay about the look of the game. And the fact that it's an open world game. And he was being very nice about it. Like, if this looks like it's for you, then that's good.
Yeah, he's being constructive,
like
at least, yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to hate on anyone that's making a game, obviously, because it sucks. Especially because, everyone that's working on that wants to make the best Sonic game ever.
Without
no
a
one's
doubt.
trying to make a crap game.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So we've got to keep that in mind. So we're not hating on the devs or anything like that. There's lots of reasons why things turn out the way they do. Which obviously isn't going to be mentioned in marketing. It's not like, our director, we had 3 or 4 directors because of, sickness from, A, B, and C or whatever. You're not going to hear about those stories as to why things might not turn out very good. So yeah, I'm not going to go on Twitter and
I'm not going to go and
start
trash
hating.
Yeah, I'm not going to start hating.
It's a shame more than anything. I just feel sorry for the fans really at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, I know I've given it a good sort of trashing over the past sort of 5 minutes or whatever, but it is from a good place in my heart. Like when I was a kid, I grew up with these games. You know what I mean? Like I love these games, and I would love to see Sonic succeed. It doesn't come from like a joy to see this thing fail. Like I want to see it succeed, and I hope that it does. But just in terms
it's not like
of
Sonic belongs in the 90s. He doesn't have any relevance today. He totally does.
Yeah. I mean, it absolutely does. Like we were talking about in the pre-show, it's just like there's a million things you could do which would inspire gamers to go and pick up a Sonic game in 2022. But an open world game, I just do not feel that is it. Like in terms of like I understand Breath of the Wild pulled it off, but Zelda was always going to be an open world game because it always has been. But Sonic just does not belong in that sort of space. So why don't you play to Sonic's strengths and make a good Sonic game? In terms of like, look at games like Sonic Adventure, where that's done in a linear sort of 3D setting almost, where it's almost like a racetrack, like I was saying before. Or like, why not make a 2.5D Sonic game, which is like even remake Sonic 1 and 2, put it into the same package as like they did with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, right? Make Sonic 1 and 2 in full 3D. And just give it the love that it deserves, stuff like that, and continue on the saga along that route. I know they've sort of done that in the past, but it's been sort of lukewarm acceptance levels, just purely because they didn't adhere to like the old style of like the way that the game actually felt and ran. Like Sonic Mania was far in between like one of the best Sonic games that's come out in years. That's purely because Sonic Mania it's basically a continuation of the 2D Sonic games. It just carries that on. And people loved it for that reason. So why not like go with that instead of trying to reinvent the wheel like this? Because this just it feels more of an insult to the hardcore fans than anything. I'd like to be honest. Like it's kind of I'm not going to badger on about it too much, but it's brutal. Like it's tough to sort of look at, and it's due to be out before the end of the year, which is even the more worrying thing. People are like, oh, it's still got 5 months to go. It should be fine. Like they'll fix all these problems. It's like, no, they won't. Not in 5 months. They can't. That's not how it works. There's 1 month before the game is released, it has to go to print. A month before that, it has to be code locked. A month before that, it has to be feature locked. A month before that, it has to be content locked. So 4 months out, at the very, very latest, and I mean, this is like cutting it to the wire. At the very, very latest, 4 months, they can't add any more content to the game in terms of like the way that the game looks. Everything else after that is just bug fixes, like the pop-in that you see in the trailers and stuff. Like the pop-in looks really bad.
Of the level of detail. So yeah, the things in the distance just suddenly appear in the mid-ground.
Yeah. I mean, they could fix that. They could absolutely fix that. But the artistic content of the game is not going to change. This is it, pretty much. Like they've got 1 more month to work on that sort of stuff, unless they delay.
The aesthetic wasn't to me a problem at all. It looked kind of cool. To me, it was just where things were laid out. It just didn't look like it flowed well, or
the level layout. The thing for the aesthetic for me is not. It's not that it doesn't look bad. It looks like a realistic world. If you were to take the Sonic character out of that, and you put in a dude with a sword, you would not know the difference. You would look at that and be like, "Oh yeah, that's just like a dude with a sword in a Sonic world." But you would never say that. It's Sonic that is out of place in this world. That's the thing that annoys like the actual art direction itself. Like it doesn't look like a Sonic game. It just looks like Sonic's been forced into this Unreal Engine game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's the problem I have with it. It doesn't look bad, like in terms of like the way that it looks. It just doesn't look like Sonic. The art direction just doesn't look like Sonic, and it's very strange to me. Like maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe it'll change. Maybe maybe this is just like the other world that Sonic's been teleported to for like one level or whatever, and then like it flips back to Green Hill Zone and everything's awesome. You know, for all I know, like I don't know, like we'll see. But it's just for the time being, if this is the game,
this is the world of level of detail popping.
Yeah,
that's what happens in this level.
That's a worry.
It's all for design. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love
Things
to have
in this world appear suddenly in front of your eyes that are in the distance.
Yeah,
that's the feature for this level.
Right, the popping country. That's what it's called. Yeah, I'd love to have a conversation with Sam Webster about this just to see like what his takes are on it, because I'm sure you could go into like a lot more detail on it. But yeah, tough. That is really rough, man. I just don't know what to really think about it. It's hard to describe.
Yeah, tell us in the comments what you think of the Sonic Frontiers game. Are we being harsh, or are we on the money? And are you frustrated with Sonic? Let us know.
Indeed.
But yeah, that's probably enough on Sonic now, because we've got to get through quite a lot of games actually with this Sony State of Play.
Yeah.
So, what did you think of the Sony State of Play overall reaction? It's like the first, summer of E3 content we've had. What did you think?
Yeah, this is a funny one. I mean, it's because I understand that it's like a part of the Summer Games Fest and stuff, and we're looking at this as like a Sony showcase bit. But at the same time, it is a state of play, which are sort of historically they are separate things. Like Sony normally do like a Sony showcase, like a Sony showcase briefing thing. I can't remember what they call it. And then the state of plays are always like traditionally half an hour, and they normally like cover one or two games. But this time, this state of play was handled very differently. It felt almost like half of or like a third of a normal showcase sort of thing. Mm-hmm.
I was thinking that, yeah.
Which is great. Like it blew my expectations out of the water. Like I wasn't expecting this level of stuff. Like I genuinely, like we had a discussion about it last week. I genuinely thought that they were just going to be covering VR2 stuff and sprinkle in a couple of third-party games, like Final Fantasy 16, which they did show. But we got a lot of other stuff on the other side of that. So I genuinely believe it's probably the best state of play that they've had. But I don't know if that's a compliment in terms of like all the other state of plays just can't match up to this, but it's just where it landed. I just think it's just the nature of it purely because of the fact that we're in E3 season. They've got a lot more stuff to pack in, sort of stuff. But I'm not sure. Like it really depends if they've got like a proper showcase sort of lined up for Sony, where it is like an hour and a half of stuff that come in like either this month or next month. I'm pretty sure it's going to be next month because they've released this early. Mm-hmm. When they do eventually have that, is that going to be like a full blowout, or are they just going to have a second state of play and then a third state of play and sort of spread this stuff out? Because that, as like taking a step back from all of that, I don't like that. Like I like the summer showcases. I like this is what we've got to show this year.
Everything all at once. Yeah, and just be mind blown and have that experience. Yeah. Like having it in bread. It's like a packet of sweets, isn't it? It's like if you have 2 sweets a day, that's boring. But if you sit and eat a whole packet of sweets, you've had a good time.
That's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah. So I get that. Yeah.
So that's my only concern of it. Like it was so good that it makes me worry about the future of what like the summer showcases. That's my concern, I guess. But overall, great show. Really enjoyed it. Good half an hour. Like it didn't really stop all the way through.
No.
Good solid hitters. But how about you, man? How did you feel about it?
I was taking out my washing from the washing machine because I've obviously been on a holiday, so I need to do washing, and I was fitting that in, and it did that thing where it caught my attention, and the washing didn't get put out, and I had to like, I grabbed my phone and was like, captivated and absorbed. It totally grabbed my attention. So I thought it was great, and I was just thinking, if this is the stuff that they're saying now, like because all the other stuff is good for the summer festival of games or whatever that we're going to end up calling it a new name or whatever. Sure. Then I was like, wow, this is going to be great. So I was thinking of it more of a rather than pessimistic view that you had. I was like, wow, if everything else is going to be better than this, then that's pretty cool, because there was nothing there that I thought was lackluster or not interesting or at least not noteworthy. There was something for everyone, I thought, that could get excited, and I think that was thought of, and I think that was I think the marketing team must have thought that's like, we need to cover all the bases so that someone is going to take something away. so that they're getting all the media attention on at least one or two games. And I've seen that. I've seen people go, oh, I'm really excited about this, and then threads start about that. And I've seen some of the devs that are working on some of the games have been really, which is something as a game dev now, I just totally love when people get psyched about seeing the games I've been working on, and they can talk about it and say, yes, I'm working on this.
Finally,
that's been really great to see. Yeah. So I like that. That's nice to see. So overall I was quite excited. We should jump in with the first thing that came out, which was the Resident Evil 4 remake.
Indeed. I mean, we knew this was coming, like, on some level, but I wasn't expecting it to be shown in this state of play. It sort of passed me by, like, but in retrospect, I looked at a few other people speaking online, like, called it, sort of thing. I was like, yeah, I probably should have called this, actually. That's a good point. Like, the timing was right and all this sort of stuff, but yeah, this is the big one. Like, everyone's been excited about Resident Evil 4 for a long time, ever since they announced the Resident Evil 2 remake back in the day. They're like, oh, Resident Evil 2 is up there, and then it's Resident Evil 4 is like the big one after that. So yeah, the fact that they started with this was just like banger. Like, it's a good way to start.
Yeah, I was excited about it. It looked great. I'm really excited for it. It's gonna be cool.
I
wasn't expecting it, but
I wasn't expecting it whatsoever, and just I really enjoyed 2 and 3 remake. I think they did a really great job on those. Like, they're a bit shorter as well, which is good. Like, I actually like the fact that they're a bit shorter, so like I can get through it in a weekend and enjoy it. It's like a good horror movie. You just sit down and enjoy it, and then like move on to the next thing, and it leaves a good sort of taste in your mouth, for lack of a better term. So yeah,
like a little sprinkling of horror.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to sit in that for like 50 hours. You know what I mean? Like, you want to be able to get through a good Resident Evil game in like 10 hours or something max, and then just be like, yeah, that was great, and it's super condensed and solid. I mean, that's what I'm sort of after in these games. So yeah, really excited about it.
Yeah, looked really cool. I'm excited. Anything else to say about that?
No, not really. I mean, it's Resident Evil, right? Like, we know.
Evil.
Yeah, it's got good quality. I mean, it's out like really soon as well. Like at the very start, like they actually started out with the date before they even started the trailer. So it comes out on 24th of March 23. So yeah, good solid release date as well. Like, it's not too far away. It's obviously going to be a third-party game, so it's probably going to be out on Xbox Series X as well, I would assume. Who knows? Maybe it won't. I'm not too sure, though. It didn't really say if it was going to be an exclusive or not at the same time.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Indeed.
And then the Spider-Man remastered as well, coming to PC on the 12th of August.
Yeah.
I was excited about that. I can't wait to see what people come up with once it's on PC, with some, potentially we could be getting some like mods and things. That could be cool.
Yeah, I saw like there was a video online of like a toxic fanboy like crying over this. Like a PlayStation.
Is that what that was? Is that what they were crying about?
Yeah.
Because I was like, I wonder what got him riled up. But
happens.
I didn't comment. I didn't comment on that video.
You should have.
Yeah, it's a guy. He's holding his PlayStation and he's like posing, and he shouts at everyone for taking away his game from his console or something.
Yeah, like he's genuinely angry, and it's sort of like it. At first, I thought it was funny, but then by the end of it, I was just like very, very sad. It was just like, man, this is what our industry has turned into. It's kind of depressing.
See, I didn't think he was angry, because I don't think you start off. I don't think you get the camera. I don't think you get the PlayStation, and you get all that like teed up to then be angry right at the end. It's a bit. I thought it was just all the marketing things. Like, I am playing the role of a fanboy, toxic fanboy, and this is going to get coverage. That's how I read it.
I hope so.
I watched it.
I really hope so, because it just. I've seen other things like that as well. Like people getting genuinely angry at PlayStation releasing PC games is just. It's astounding to me. Like, people getting angry because, like, why did I buy a PlayStation 5 if they're just going to release it on PC? Because PS5 costs like a quarter of the amount.
Several grand.
Yeah,
exactly. But we said the same thing in different ways.
Yeah, it's just like, it's logical. It's like, if you want to play the game at 8K at 120 frames a second, like, go ahead, go spend $3,000 on a PC and then buy this game. Like, that is your prerogative. Like, as long as it's available to multiple people, then I'm happy for it. Like, it's more of an interesting question to me, is because you're basically releasing PlayStation exclusives onto an Xbox platform, like a Microsoft platform, which is fascinating to me.
Platform.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. Obviously, I don't care about like the exclusivity and all that sort of stuff. It's just more people should be able to play these games as possible. It's just
we're not fanboys here at the Polygon Forest.
Yeah, the anger confuses me. Yeah, fanboys annoy me. That's what annoys me more than anything. Especially
it's only damaging. It's not anything other than damaging our reputation as a legitimate industry.
Yeah,
an art form. Yeah, no place for it. I'm excited about that. That could be cool. I want to see what people do with it, and I'm happy to see it's going to an audience.
Yeah, I'll be really interested to see like if they do any mods for it, other than like Thomas the Tank Engine, like swinging through the cities. No, it's been done.
Octopus as Thomas the Tank Engine. And then we've got Horizon Forbidden West. Is it Horizon Forbidden West? What are they calling it?
Oh, you're talking about the VR thing?
The VR thing, yeah.
So first, so there's two updates. So there's the Horizon Forbidden West is getting just a general update. It's getting New Game Plus and a load of major update features and stuff, which is, I'm kind of glad that I stopped playing that game because now I'll get all this cool other stuff. Haha, Chris. Because I know you just finished it.
Thursday. Oh, I've not finished it. No, I've not finished it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So on Thursday.
Yeah, so it dropped like that.
It dropped.
Yeah, like straight after as well. So.
Oh, okay, I'll have to update that then.
Yeah. So, but
do they say what happened in the updates? Like what's actually happening?
It's just a New Game Plus and a bunch of major updates. They did sort of walk through it when they showed the trailer itself. I can show it up on screen right now actually. Sort of go through it. But yeah, the main thing is New Game Plus. Like people are always after that. I think they put a transmog in there as well, so you can change your the way that your outfit looks, even and keep it all the stats from the other things, so you can sort of switch those around. So you can wear what you want to wear while having the right stats and stuff, which is great.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, because I've always found because in the last game sometimes I didn't upgrade my armor because I just thought it looked better mid.
Yeah,
it
annoys me. And I really wish more games would do that.
Yeah, well, it's more coding, isn't it? It's more engineering. It's more like if you think about how many costumes there are, and like how difficult it would be to get like the colors. There's so much content in that game. Like the amount of colors you can get, the dyes for each outfit, and there's a load of outfits. Yeah. And you can reset your skill points. I've seen that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's kind of missed. That was I didn't really think about that really to be like swappable and change outable. But yeah, that's more. It's good.
Oh yeah.
They got an ultra hard difficulty. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I want is them to turn off the damn hints. That's it. It's the only option I wanted. It's the only option I wanted. Hopefully that's been dumbed down a little bit with this update, but we'll see. I'll be playing through the game again anyway, so yeah, I'll get all the benefits from this, and I'll update everyone on that.
Yeah, I'll be definitely having a look and see if it helps my gaming experience, because the one where one of the first big updates where they changed the fact that you didn't need to do the getting stuff out of a chest animation, and you could just walk past some leaves and pick them up off the ground without actually going, ugh. That was great, because that was just boring gameplay loop. That was just so boring and annoying.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the thing that killed Red Dead Redemption 2 for me more than anything.
Was just bending over,
slowly like opening drawers and stuff, and it looks amazing. But you're just like, Jesus, like, can we like get on with this? Like you really need to just grow. Yeah, I mean, when you find out about like The Last of Us Part 2, and it's got like this option in the menu where you can just like turn off the button press, and it's just like Ellie hoovering stuff up as she walks by.
Like, yeah,
right. I love that stuff.
That's what you need.
Yeah, we need more. We need more of those options, because like while it's cool like the first time, once you do it like 100 times or whatever, it's just like, okay, I get it. Like really cool animation, but yeah, come on, sort of thing. So
yeah, it's slowing me down. I want to just get the stuff and go.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the other thing as well. It does take you out of that does take you out of the it's more ludonarrative dissonance, because if you were in that actual scenario and you want to be in a rush, you'd open it quick and you'd be hustling and the animation would be different. But instead of like going up to the drawer and then the hand finding the handle and then opening it up and then doing the thing, and that might be totally out of sync if there's a zombie just like out the door, or you want to quickly get the stuff, run, and then put it in your bag and run. Yeah, so just it appearing in your bag is actually more realistic.
Yeah.
So that was Horizon
Forbidden
update.
West, yeah.
Forbidden West update, and then we've also got Call of the Mountain for PSVR 2.
Yeah, this was the Horizon Zero Dawn, the Horizon VR game, right?
Yeah.
PlayStation VR 2 is looking pretty damn good in terms of like graphical fidelity.
Yes.
I will not be playing this game because I'm terrified of heights. So yeah, that's the unfortunate side effect of this. You're literally climbing a mountain and constantly looking down. I'm like, not playing that.
Yeah. I won't be playing it, not because of the heights thing, but because of the dodging. Like, it looks like when you're fighting the animals, the robots, that you have to dodge. And if there's something coming at me, I'm going to want to dive out of the way or move.
Oh, physically, you mean?
Physically, so I'm going to bump my head on a wall for starters, and also I get motion sickness. So climbing statically climbing is fine for me. I'm like, well, this is cool, but like moving in 3 dimensions with VR headset, it just makes me get nauseous. So it's a real shame because it's totally up my street sort of thing. It's like properly what I would want to go for. It looks like you have to do that.
I am genuinely curious about like PlayStation VR just in general, because while we've got a Quest and stuff like that, like the Quest 2 is great, but just in terms of the graphical fidelity that you can get on basically a mobile chip which is inside those things versus like a full like console like pushing the polygons that Call to the Mountain does, it's just I'd be really curious to see what else they can sort of come up with, because with PlayStation's IPs and stuff, like I just want a game where I play as like Kratos and I'm just throwing axes at stuff. Like, where's that game? Like I want to play that. Like, I don't want to be climbing mountains and being terrified of heights, because I'm not terrified of heights, but like they just give me vertigo and stuff. Like, I can't do it. Like, I tried to play the climb on Quest 2. I got like 5 minutes into that thing. I was like, nope, feeling sick. Can't do that. So this'll drive it right down that same sort of problem because of just the heights thing. It's but I do want to play like the Horizon like Arrow game. That'd be great. Like, just stood there. But
it'd be good to have content tailored for people like us that have some sort of either vertigo or like motion sickness, because I'd still like to do the static stuff. So like in the boat shooting stuff, that'd be awesome, because you can just sit still and that doesn't make me nauseous. Like, if I'm in a vehicle moving on VR, it's absolutely fine. Actually, I say that there was that roller coaster game that I played that I did get motion sickness on.
I mean, that is a roller coaster though, Chris. That's fair.
Yeah, that's true. Like a boat, like it's just going straight and along a river. Hopefully that'll be okay. But Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, is that the right one? Is that the right game? Yeah, that made me feel really nauseous. And also the enemies just start getting annoying and just copy and paste the same bad guy over and over again. So I didn't finish that. Well, and because of the nausea.
Speaking of which, and it's not actually mentioned in the list that we're going through, but I'll make quick mention of it. There's a new Walking Dead Saints and Sinners game which was announced at PlayStation, the showcase as well, which isn't on the list that we're going to be talking about because it's not a mainline hitter. But that was the first game where like you're actually... I played that on Quest, like the first one, and walking around with the controller while like getting locomotion. Like at first, like it really threw me off and it made me feel sick. But after a while, like of going back to it, like playing it for 5 minutes, like just getting used to it and building that muscle memory, I was able to sort of get over that hump and get used to that sort of weird, like your body isn't moving and your brain doesn't really understand like why your body's moving, but your head is and stuff. It's just, it does take a while to get used to, but you can get used to it. That's the thing. It's just a matter of training that muscle and doing it over and over again and finding the right game to do it as well. Like you can't just get thrown into, the deep end on these things. Like you have to slowly build up to it. Like the game that was like a good entrance gateway for me was Pistol Whip when I played that. First time I went into that game and your body's just like moving forward, and it's just like whoa, like your brain just does not know what's happening. But like after a good while, like my brain is just totally used to that now. Like, and even if I don't play the game for 2 months at a time, if I put the headset on and play it, like I'm instantly used to it now. It's not anything I have to build back up to. So that is the good side to it. It's sort of like riding a bike. Once you do get over that hump, it's once you're used to it, you're used to it. That's it. So hopefully, more VR games that come out sort of solve that over time.
Well, for me, it was Star Wars Squadrons, and because you're sat in an X-wing or a TIE fighter all the time, it's perfect because I didn't get motion sickness because that's the only thing I didn't feel was the G-forces, but
it's a good thing you don't feel that, to be fair.
Yeah, or the
just your face like going off this side of your skull, right? Yeah, and then passing out. Like that's not something that you want. That's all good.
No. But yeah, moving on. What was the next one? The Callisto Protocol.
Yeah, this thing, right?
This is what I was hoping for. New IP.
Yeah.
This is what we talked about, and we thought, what if there's some new IP that looks kind of cool? This is everything I was hoping for in a new IP. In that it just looks like Dead Space.
This is exactly what I was going to say, and we haven't spoken about this beforehand or anything.
No.
When this came up, I was like, oh sweet, a new Dead Space is coming out.
Same, yeah.
And I was like, yeah, this looks cool. Like, I wonder why the lights aren't on his back and stuff.
I was like, oh, he's got to get the armor. He's got to collect the armor, and that's where that's where it gets more and more like even more danger. Like, and I bet you get the armor right at the end, and then never even showed it, and then the different thing came up, and I was like, oh, I thought it was Dead Space.
Yeah,
but no, it looks so cool. It looks so gruesome and gory, and the lighting looks brilliant. And there's even that 3/4 shot over his shoulder as well, where the sparks going.
Yeah,
and I was like, that's
clearly
definitely Dead Space.
It's clearly like inspired by Dead Space, which is fine.
It's a love letter to Dead Space.
Yeah, which is
great because we're due something like this, aren't we?
Yeah.
There's lots of cool sci-fi horror indie games that are existing because there's like, and that's where that exists really well. Lots of cool solo people are doing like Dead Space-ish type games, but this looks like it's got that, AAA secret source sort of higher polish, higher detail. Like the amount of enemies that are in this game, the amount of animation that we see just in the trailers, just in this trailer, it just looks brilliant.
Yeah.
And that bit where he's upside down, that looks so cool.
It looks an absolutely beautiful game. Well, not beautiful is probably the bad word to use, but I mean, it looks fantastic. And it's out really soon as well. That's another great thing. It's out in December 2nd. Like it's one of those games that they've been working on this in the background. But Striking Distance Studios, like I'm not sure I know who that is. I don't know if that's a new studio or what. I'm gonna go and look them up right now.
Yeah, interesting. Striking Distance Studios.
Yeah, I've never actually heard of them. So I think they worked on a Call of Duty game at one point. I'm not sure.
Okay,
I believe.
Well, this looks like they know what they're doing from the.
Without doubt. Yeah. I'm very, very excited about it. I'm not like questioning them all in like that. It's more about. I'm just curious what their sort of repertoire is when it comes to the games that they've worked on in the past.
And yeah, everything that you want from a trailer, hit those buttons for me. It's like, what does that enemy do? Like, what's the story? Like, why is that person talking? Like, why is that person being put in that situation? Why is that robot squishing those people? Like, what's all the horror stuff? Like, is it an infection? Is it like an alien? Like, what's going on? And
it's Glenn Schofield. That's why. Okay, now this all makes sense now.
Okay.
All right. So Striking Distance Studios is run by someone called Glenn Studios. If people don't know who that is, he worked on Call of Duty, and he also most notably led the team that made Dead Space. So it's literally a Dead Space game with a different name, which now I'm even more excited. That's awesome. Yeah. I'm happy about that.
Brilliant. Looking forward to that. And then down to the other one, which which maybe it's just my Twitter, the Roller Dome game announcement trailer. Drome. Sorry, yeah, Roller Drome. Yeah, which was cool for so many reasons. Like I'm following a lot of the devs on Twitter, so that was cool to see them all go, "Yay, this is the game."
Yeah, that's what they've been working on.
Like for me, the synth like music that they had with the trailer. I'm hoping that's also in the game because that is just so.
It's got to be. Yeah, it's got to be.
That was really, really cool synth, sort of electro, dark, kind of techno-y, lo-fi stuff. It was kind of really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's all based off like the Akira art style, right? Like the whole.
Well, there was like
the drawn
Akira
anime lines.
Yeah, it had cool anime vibes, like the cell shading sort of toon render that they've got for the aesthetic was kind of cool, but also like what was that Arnold Schwarzenegger game? It had vibes of like Running Man, Logan's Run as well, like the old film.
Just 80s stuff, right? Just
80s action game, and just the gameplay loop as well as like roller skating and shooting.
Yeah, I was kind of annoyed as well because like I pitched a game a couple of years ago of like a skateboarding game but with swords. Very similar feel to this. Like this is exactly what I would have gone for as well. I was sort of like I was half annoyed but half excited about the game at the same time. So I was like, God damn it, someone else. No, I knew someone else would make something like that. So, but yeah, it's good to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about that because it just looks cool. It looks like one of those cool like triple I games.
Yeah, I mean the only thing that looked a little bit stilted, I guess, was the animation work was a bit stiff at times. That's the only thing, but that could probably be solved over time. But if not, it's not the end of the world. Like as long as the gameplay is good.
And also for me, I like the fact they did the toon shading thing, but I don't know whether or not it could have looked better with a different.
Yeah, it's an indie game. Yeah, it's one of those things.
It's an indie game, so it's quick and cheap and easy,
right?
And effective for the price. Sure.
Yeah, for when it comes to the toon shader stuff, like you can really get into the weeds of how you code that stuff in, and then it sort of does all the work for you. And then the actual models themselves are like super low poly, and they're actually really easy to do, and they're all just colors at that point. Like because there's no real texture work to anything. It's all just like the actual models itself, and then it's just you fill like they do color fills on each individual model, and that's it. There's no like specularity, no normal maps to them or anything. It's literally just you add the toon shader on top of that, and it adds all the lines and it creates all the depth and all that sort of stuff for you. So it's very, very cheap in terms of like processing power, but also like labor as well. Like it's a great use of time and effort when it comes to indie developers utilizing this sort of style, especially. So, yeah, more power to them. I hope the game's good. Yeah,
it looks cool, and I'm really excited for that one. Just glad that it exists. Like, yes, this is where innovation. It just looks like a load of people that are good at problem solving, just doing a really innovative, different, interesting little thing that looks like it's going to be really good fun, and it's been getting really good feedback. Like I've seen on Twitter, like lots of people are really excited about it.
Yeah,
it's great to see.
Yeah, it's good to see indie developers do well in that respect as well.
Yeah, and it's good to see them, on something like this that's sharing the limelight with everyone else. It's great. Yeah. And then Eternights game.
Eternights, yeah. Anime's gonna anime, right?
Anime's got an anime. I don't know. It's like a dating sim meets quick time event action game.
It's very Japanese, to be fair.
It's very Japanese. I'm sure it's fine.
Sure.
For those people that like that.
For the people that are into it, I'm sure they're pretty high. Yeah. Like I've seen a lot of people quite excited about this and like, oh yeah, it's more. Yeah. It's like an action version of Persona sort of thing. And Persona does have some of all of these elements, but it's much more of a slow-paced game, whereas this looks like a bit more of a fast-paced game. Who knows? Like, it could be great for all I know. Like, anime... Like, when it comes to anime-based sort of games like this, like, you never know until they're out if they're going to be good or not.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because they kind of...
There's lots of amateurs putting out a lot of crap.
Yeah.
That first graphic of a guy getting his arm chopped off, I was like, that's kind of cool, because it was done really well. Yeah. Personally, that's a really pernickety thing. I'm used to more eye wobble.
What on the anime characters like
yeah
right, when they're staring.
I was like eye's not wobbling as much as I would have expected.
Yeah.
And if that's anything to go by for the rest of the game, like just not quite like it's anime on 7.5.
Yeah. Studio Sire sat there right now. Okay, more eye wobble. Okay.
More eye wobble.
Of course.
That's my feedback.
Good to know.
Not that I'm an anime expert in any case at all.
But clearly you are, Chris. You know about the eye wobble.
True, that's true. That means it must be.
Just saying.
But the thing, it didn't captivate me story-wise. I don't know why. I don't care that he got his hand chopped off, and I don't care what the struggle is. That didn't come across in the trailer. But maybe that's just because I'm not...
You're not into the animes, yeah.
Yeah, I am. I'm into good animes. No, that sounds really bad to say. I'm into the animes that I like.
That still doesn't make... How do you know you don't like the anime until... right, okay. That's what I mean. Family friendly.
Well, I don't know. No, not necessarily. Like, what's that Butterflies one with the guy in the nuclear war?
Grave of the Fireflies.
Grave of the Fireflies, yeah. That's like one of my favorite ones.
Really?
That's as dark as it gets. Yeah.
It's pretty dark. Yeah, that is a dark movie. There's a lot of good animes, but there's also, for every good anime, there's 20 bad ones. Unfortunately, there's just so much of it as well. So like you can say that, and people will probably agree.
And
with
it's not so much bad. It's just like people used to think anime was one thing, but it's really not. And you just got to find what gels with you. And
that's fair.
It's tough to communicate that these days because people just go, "Oh, it's anime, so we'll do the anime tropes, and then that will please everyone." And it's like, no, show what's going to make that for people. I don't know.
Yeah,
how
it's
do you
tough.
find your niche anime?
Yeah, it's one of those things like people look at anime as if anime is a genre of itself, and it's not. It's like there's genres within that. Like it's a medium. Yeah. And so it's kind of hard to like. It's probably bad that I should even say, "Oh, anime's gonna anime." Like it looks like an anime game, right? But yeah, it's just
that's what they went for. But we don't know what type of anime it is.
Exactly.
Well, they say it's a dating sim, so I guess you can draw some sort of conclusions about that. They might not be up my street, but
who knows?
Saying that I quite like Boyfriend Dungeon. Like to watch it. Sure. It's quite interesting.
Yeah, I'm a huge like a Persona fan as well, and that's got a lot of that sort of relationship building stuff in there. And so, like, who knows, like how it turns out? I don't know. I might pick this thing up and just play it in Japanese just to practice Japanese language stuff. But other than that, there's
low-key flex there, Vin. Low-key flex. Okay.
No, if it was if it was natural
Vin
flex,
Japanese.
No, if it was natural flex, then I would say, I don't need to play that game because I already know Japanese. When I absolutely don't, so I need to practice. That's the actual like. You know, I'm actually trying to degrade myself at this point. But yeah, anyway, we should stop talking about anime in Japanese.
Yeah, we should. We've been We've been coming up to an hour, so yeah, we need to go through the rest of it. Other PS VR 2 announcements was Resident Evil 4.
Indeed.
The Village is getting VR 2 content.
Yep, and the big tall lady is going to be towering over you in real life, and that's going to set off all the weebs that really like her. So,
yeah,
they're going to enjoy it.
Who doesn't like a big, tall, powerful vampire lady with a really nice voice?
Right.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Fair. Yeah, it should be interesting.
Like fandom.
Yeah, I mean, it looks absolutely fantastic, and it looks like a PS4 game running on VR, which is exactly what everyone wants. So, who knows? It can be great. Apparently, it worked really well in Resident Evil 7, so it'd be interesting.
Dual wielding weapons as well, which is kind of cool. So you can get 2 pistols out.
That'd be very cool.
Yeah, and like smash pots and stuff, and feel a bit interactive. Cool. But again,
that's why we play Resident Evil, right? Smashing pots.
But there's already been. I've seen VR of this already. It's just the official version, and quite frankly, a lot of the times, the fans can do a better job. So who knows?
This is very true. This is very true.
But obviously, that's not in PS VR 2. So this is like in the Quest 2, the stuff that I've seen, like unofficial fan work.
Yeah.
So we'll see. The new trailer for Final Fantasy 16.
This is the big one. Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts, Vin? Because you're the Final Fantasy fan. I have not played a Final Fantasy.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the game looks good. It just looks. I don't know. It kind of looks generic to me.
I don't know what the game is.
Yeah. I mean, the trailer was bad in that respect. Like, it still didn't really tell me anything about the game. It just showed me a load of like pretty visuals and stuff, which is fine. Like that's
read out a load of names. Like I should know who these people are.
Sure, and we don't because like all of these, all these characters are new. Every Final Fantasy is different set of characters, different world, all that sort of stuff.
What? I was just expecting, these are famous Final Fantasy people. Otherwise, why would they just name them?
Yeah, they're all new people.
And have a cool infographic of like their name, and then have people read out what their names are.
Yeah. No.
Okay, that's a weird choice then.
Yeah, I don't know. This doesn't look like Final Fantasy to me. That's the thing. Like, I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan. Like, I've played every single one of the games. It just doesn't. This looks like a very generic sort of JRPG. I don't know. Like, I'm really curious to see how this sort of game pans out. This is very much a game that I have to wait for reviews on before I even buy it, because I'm kind of confused with the direction of the game. Like, artistically, it just doesn't look like a Final Fantasy. Everything that I've seen it just doesn't feel like Final Fantasy outside of the summons, which they've sort of shown. Of like the 4 summons, they are reoccurring like magic things, and they're probably the things that you're referring to in terms of like the name and stuff, like with Shiva and Ifrit and stuff. Like they are reoccurring like spells that you can cast, and so they sort of wanted to drum up their thing for that. But that's like outside of the summons. There really wasn't anything else that looked like Final Fantasy to me. It just feels like another JRPG. It doesn't look any less anime than the other game that we saw from a Japanese studio. So I know
looks just as anime. Yeah.
I mean, the quality of the game, obviously, like AAA stuff looks absolutely fantastic. Don't get me wrong. It's just it just doesn't feel like a Final Fantasy game yet to me. And I've seen a couple of other people say that as well. I'm not sure if like they. It's very much a wait and see sort of thing for me, but yeah, hopefully it's good. Yeah. I hope it's good, because we need a good Final Fantasy game.
But we saw very, very little actual gameplay, but it just does look, it looks JRPG-ish, because you've got the health bars and you've got looks like you're in a part of a map that's blocked off. You can't run away, so it doesn't look like it's open world or anything.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is the tactic that a lot of Japanese studios are going for. Like Capcom's doing this, right? Like with Resident Evil at the moment. They are simultaneously working on new IP, which is like sort of completely different to their old stuff. But at the same time, they're re-releasing the old stuff by doing remakes. So they're remaking Resident Evil 2, 3, and 4 at the same time that they're making 7 and 8, which are first-person games, which are completely different style in game. So there's something for everyone. And I think Final Fantasy is sort of doing that same thing, with Final Fantasy 16 being completely different, while Final Fantasy 7 Remake is sort of there to sort of appease the old school guys like me, to sort of, like, shut up, sit down, go over there, and here's your old toy. Like, it's fine.
Here's your
bit.
Here's the chocolate you like, Finn. Yeah.
Exactly. So, like, there's something for everyone, so it's fine. Like, I'm not saying Final Fantasy 16 is going to be a bad game. I'm sure it's going to be great, and people are going to love it. But for me as an old school Final Fantasy person, it just doesn't feel like a Final Fantasy game yet. Remains to be seen. I mean, the game's still got 12 months of development yet. I think it comes out in summer 23, I think it was slated as. It's probably going to slip to the end of the year, but we'll sort of see on that. But hopefully it's good. I'm fingers crossed for them. I really hope that it does well, because we need a good Final Fantasy. I really didn't enjoy 15 that much. It just didn't really like connect with me. The characters were super tropey, and it just didn't really hit that hard for me. So hopefully this one's hopefully it's a good one.
Yeah, that might be why we didn't see much gameplay then, if it's that far, if it's going to be possibly pushed back to the end of the year.
I think they're probably just saving it for Tokyo Game Show. Like, they normally show off a lot more Japanese stuff, which is in it's in September. So we'll see a lot more about it, I'm sure.
And then we had the Street Fighter 6 trailer. This looked really cool. I was like, damn, when was the last time we had a cool like fighting game announcement out? It made me think of that. It's like, damn, it's been a while. And looked Street Fighter-y to me.
Yeah.
Looked pretty cool. Is it Ryan? He's got jacked. Like, he's big and beefy.
All right, like, get a room, Chris. Jesus.
Yeah. And I was like, is that because then there's some more thinner characters and they can look different, like different silhouettes and stuff?
I mean, the characters are pretty thick. Just to address the elephant in the room here.
Yeah,
they've
been hitting the gym.
Right, they've beefed out the best bits, if you know what I mean. So
steady on, Vin. Oh my gosh.
Hey, you started it. You got me all worked up. Yeah, it's just Street Fighter game, like half semi-open world or whatever. Like that's the part that's sort of like bizarre to me, because like I was watching this trailer and I was like, what even is this? Like obviously the hardcore fans understood what it was straight away. Dudes climbing ladders, like smashing up boxes and stuff, and then it switches to the fight. Like and I was like, oh, it's
you go around like picking fights with like people on the street. Right? Is that what it is? In which case, it's like, are you just like a douche that's just going around picking fights with people that like anyone at random?
Street Fighter GTA, yeah.
Street Fighter GTA could be. You just like punch someone's car to smithereens, like, but you deal with the consequences of that. It's like, dude, that's my car. It's like, sorry, it was a special round.
Right, yeah. I had a side quest. I had to punch the car in. So like, yeah, but I needed this to work. Like this whole, yeah. It's kind of weird, but I don't know. I mean, it's definitely an interesting sort of take, because Street Fighter as a brand it's a hard one, man, because they obviously had their hardcore sort of base of people, but I can't imagine how many additional fans they gain every sort of game that comes out. I can't imagine it'll be too many. So they're trying to freshen it up and add this new take. And like we were talking before, like Sonic, probably shouldn't be in an open world, but the fact that they've got an open world sort of area, and then you go into the fight still. Like this is the better way of doing it, and it reminds me a lot of an old 360 game actually. Like there was a Naruto game that came out on the 360. What was it, like Birth of the Ninja or something? I can't remember what it was, but it's based on the TV show, on the anime itself. But it's similar thing. It's an open world game. You do platforming stuff, you do side quests and all that sort of stuff. But when you actually get into a fight, it switches to this sort of mode where you're just like, it's a normal fighting game like this, and it was great, and like it worked great, and it, like I hope like we see more of this stuff, because for the first time I'm looking at a Street Fighter game, like I'd play that, like, and I haven't done that in a long time, so it worked. They got me.
And synthy again, like there's this cool like wave of music. It's like synthy pop, lo-fi kind of. It had a couple of different tracks in that trailer that stood out to me, and one was like a lo-fi chill track at the end, and I was like, wow, okay, I've not seen that in like a Street Fighter game or any other game. Like, so it feels like music is changing within games as well.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
And it's good to see that that's kind of freshening things up. To me, it's a tedious link, but it reminded me of Super Mario Odyssey, where it had 3D elements, but then every so often it had 2D puzzle elements similar to the original Mario. So it's kind of like a nod that it had two different things going on within the same game. And so it seems like that's with the Street Fighter game. But I liked the fact that the trailer was mostly Street Fighter that we know and love, like people fighting in cool locations. That was the majority of the trailer. And then some of it was, hey, we can walk around, but we're only going to show you little bits and pieces of that. That was kind of nice.
They're probably going to still have an arcade mode to appease like the old school fans that just want to do the fighting bit as well. So like, hopefully it'll be a good sort of mix, and if they find a good balance with that, then it could be great. Like, who knows? Like, it certainly worked in that Naruto game, so there's really no reason why it can't work for Street Fighter as well.
Yeah. Oh, and then one of my another favorite of mine. I know it's been in production for a while. Tunic. This looks so cool.
It's already out. What are you talking about? It's been out on 360.
Oh, it's the fact that it's come out to. My bad. It's coming out on PlayStation 4 and 5 on September 27th.
Yeah, it's already out.
This was out, but I was like, it's already out.
Yeah, it's out on Xbox at the moment. I think it's a timed exclusive. I think they had like a Game Pass exclusive or something for them, so it came out a couple of months ago. My
bad.
No, it's.
I still haven't played it.
Yeah.
Have you played it?
I've got it downloaded. I do want to get to it. I'm playing another game in a minute. But once that one's out of the way, I'm going to get to Tunic, because it's giving me serious like Death's Door vibes. So I want to.
I was going to say that. I was like, this looks like a game that Vin would love to play because of Death's Door.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to getting into this one.
Yeah, and it looks to me like a different art direction, because obviously Tunic is wearing the Link up with the shield, and
it's very Legend of Zelda. Yeah.
But it's like, it looks to me like if someone else had the Zelda IP, what would they do with it? And it looks just like another artistic vision of that. And it is like a love letter to Legends of Zelda games.
Yeah, there's something wrong with that. Yeah, absolutely.
It just looks so cool. So, yeah, really looking forward to that. And the publisher is a cool publisher as well from them. Again, the next game.
Talking about Season.
Season.
Yeah.
This looks so cool.
Yeah, this looks very, very cool.
Like, I've never seen a game like this.
Yeah, I don't. This is one of those trailers. Like, I saw it and I was like, okay, this looks amazing. I really want to play this. I don't know what the hell you do in it, but I want to play it. Like, I've got actually no idea what you do in this game. None.
I think that it looks like you fill in a book, you take sound recordings, you interview interesting characters, and you explore places it sounds like you've got to figure out why the season is changing. I'm not sure what the season is, but it sounds like it's a change to the environment from what I can tell. But like, you take pictures, you take sound recordings, travel to cool locations, and talk to interesting people and find out their stories. Interestingly, like the art aesthetic and what the actual characters look like and things like that has got nothing to do with what it reminds me of. It reminds me of Coen Brothers films.
Okay.
Because you've got the interesting characters, you've got the interesting like motivations that are unusual, and the fact you've got like the characters with just shots of the people's heads, and the fact that you've got narration talking about what this person is doing, and you've just got these beautiful landscapes and environments, and the fact that the cinematography is so featured on weird, interesting things like lights turning on. Like, why is that in a trailer for a video game?
Yeah. No, it's good though. It's good that they do that, because we need
Game of Coen Brothers vibes.
Yeah, we need like that more. Like, the cinematography in games is becoming more and more of an important job role at this point. Like, it's not just, over the shoulder camera sort of thing. Like, cutscenes are becoming this whole industry almost. So it's cool that we're starting to see that sort of flavor in even indie games like this. Like, it's really, really cool to see.
Yeah, so that was another game that I was just like, damn, that looks really cool. And I've seen that on Twitter before I'd actually seen the trailer. And then when I found the trailer out, I was just like, oh my god, yes, that just looks brilliant. Am I thinking of Coen Brothers? No, I'm not. My bad. I'm thinking of the Royal Tenenbaums people. Who directed that?
I have no idea.
Wes Anderson. Sorry, Wes Anderson.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
My bad.
Yeah, like the art framing and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, the art framing, the narration, the close-ups of the characters, the cinematography, lots, and the color palette as well. Similarly. Yeah, that reminded me of, like, if I was making a Wes Anderson game, this is kind of what I'd go for.
Yeah, and it's out soon as well. It's out in August as well. So a lot of cool indie stuff coming this year, which is great.
And this again is reminding me of like post-COVID games. We talked when we were going through this, like, what's going to be coming out the back of it, and I think this is like a COVID game. Like, we need an antidote to this lockdown stuff, and I think this is like an answer to that. Like, you're going out in the wilderness, exploring, talking to people, like listening to nature. That's all the stuff that we couldn't do for 2 years. So I think this is kind of like an antidote to that. And I was just so excited about that. What do you think?
Yeah, it looks very cool. I'm really interested to see like how the game plays, because the only thing when it comes to these sort of indie games, at least, is that they usually have really good intention and they nail the atmosphere and the art direction and like how the game feels, when you're actually talking to people and the emotional drive and all, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They get all of that and they nail it like a lot of the time, and you can feel that coming from the trailer. The only thing is the moment-to-moment gameplay is the thing that I'm sort of not worried about or anything. Like, I'm curious to see how that sort of works and operates. Like, even if you are just like collecting data, is that like engaging over a long period of time? Like, as you taking pictures, like discovering this sort of stuff, is that fun? And that's the part I'm curious about at this point.
It can be interesting, it can be unique, it can be like soothing, but if the gameplay isn't fun,
because they've nailed everything else. Everything else looks like it's been nailed. It's just that last question of like the moment-to-moment gameplay that will make the difference between if it's going to be a 6 or a 10 sort of thing when it comes to this sort of stuff. So it's just 100%. hopefully we'll get some more answers on that before it comes out. Or like I'm really curious to see how the reviews sort of pan out for this. But yeah, it looks really interesting. I'm definitely keeping my eye on it.
It looks very different, which is why I share your concern of what's the gameplay loop like. The question that came up to me is like, does it game? Like, how much of a game is it?
Yeah.
Does it game?
Or is it just like an interactive movie? Because it's a fine line that you have to sort of struggle with when it comes to indie games, especially. So, hopefully it's good though. I'm really curious about it.
Yeah, me too.
And
then we saw more of Stray.
Speaking of, last but not least is Stray. Yeah, I mean, Stray is a funny one. How are you feeling about this?
I think it's going to have its fans, its diehard fans, regardless of how good the game is.
I mean, you play a cat.
Play a cat.
Yeah.
So it's going to get all the cat fans. Really interesting. I love the aesthetic. I love robot stuff. I love robots that have like that are, what's the right word? I like vulnerable human robots. Robots that have vulnerable human similarities.
Yeah.
That's my jam. I love that. Like robots hiding. It's just something about it that just, I don't know why. It sounds really weird.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like there was a robot doing like Tai Chi. I'm like, yes. Why is he doing Tai Chi?
Yeah.
Who cares? It's a robot. And I don't know whether or not the cat's real or not. Like, is the cat a robot? Like a really good robot? That's what I was thinking.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's real. Gotta be right.
It's got to be a real cat. But then what's the cat's motivation? Who cares? It looks gorgeous. The only thing with four-legged animals as playable characters in games is that sometimes their locomotion can be a bit janky. It's difficult to get the turning circle feeling snappy and nice. But with a cat, it's different because they're quite agile. So as long as it feels nice, I think it'll be good. It doesn't, again, I'm not sure what the actual gameplay loop is. Like you're running away from enemies. Looks like you're discovering things. Didn't look like there was any puzzle elements. Not sure what the whole, again, what's the backstory? Like, why is the cat doing these things? Just as me with like a bit of a story nerd. I didn't know why I should want to play the game.
That's
like,
fair.
I forget finding it, like opening a safe and finding a badge or like running away from a robot. I'm like, that's fine, but what is it? Life and death situation? Like, is a cat just exploring? Doesn't make any sense if that's the case. Why would a cat want to go around dangerous things? Cats are lazy. That's just me. Again, I'm a bit weird with that. Like, I need to be on board with the cat's motivations.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, for me, the game is probably the most interesting game to me, like out of all the lot, like in terms of like the state of play. It's the one that I'm most interested to play. Like, I'm probably the most excited for it, just because I'm curious to see what they do in that space. I mean, it's just my sort of game as well, like in terms of like, linear based puzzle adventure game. Like playing as a cat is sort of an interesting spin on stuff because you don't really get to do that often. You're right, like getting the character controller right for that is sort of difficult at times. So hopefully like they nail that. But I don't know, like the atmosphere of the game is really well grounded. I think I saw quite a few like sort of puzzle like platform and stuff in there. So I'm curious about that. The fact that the game is going to be free for PlayStation Plus owners, like it comes with the new PlayStation Plus, like I think Deluxe edition, or like so it's Premium, Deluxe, Extra, Essential. No, wait, that's wrong. It's damn tiers.
It's a mystery. No one actually knows what they're called.
Right, so it comes out for the middle tier and up. Like that's the best way I can describe it. So it's going to be free on the service. Like if you're sort of subscribed to
paying a mid amount of money.
Yeah, the mid tier. So yeah,
I'm worth it just for that then.
Yeah, I'm really curious about the game. It could be up there for me for being really great if they sort of nail it and it does what it says in the tin. Like I'm really curious about the world. Like where are the humans? Why is it just robots? Like why are the robots like acting as humans and sort of taking that over, and like what is the cat doing? Like I'm just very, very curious about this game. Like, and I'm really excited to sort of jump into it. So yeah, I was really happy to see more of it.
What was that anime with the robots and the girl?
With the robots and the girl?
Yeah, and like girls are outlawed and these robots protect the girl. It gave me those vibes.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like the robots remind me of a character from an anime called FLCL or Furikuri in Japanese, which is sort of similar, which has got like the TV face sort of thing, and it changes depending on like its emotions and stuff. Like, yeah, it just a lot of 80s vibes again, very synth, you know, like that sort of retro style stuff. Like I'm really liking this sort of new synth wave art style that they're sort of going with, because it isn't really 80s as per se. It's just got this retro feel to it. It's got like the shift, like the chromatic aberration where like the colors are shifted a bit, so like the reds and blue filters are sort of offset a little bit, so it's kind of got that Stranger Things vibe, but it's not strictly set in the 80s. It's just it's a really unique
taking bits from it. It's almost a really good time to invest in like a synthesizer and start making some music for the video game industry.
Have you bought that thing yet?
No, because I'm waiting for my credit card to turn up. It hasn't turned up yet, so I can't.
Waiting for a credit card to buy something. That sounds like a good financial sound.
Because I don't have enough money in my account. Yeah. Because I'm clever. Yeah. It's so stupid. It was Eden. The anime was Eden.
Yeah, I do remember that one. Yeah, I don't think I've watched it, but I remember seeing the like the previews for it and stuff.
It gave me those vibes again because the robots were kind of acting like humans and they had like human struggles. There was like the humanity there.
Yeah,
which is kind of cool. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But I'm gonna wait for the reviews because it could be one of those ones where if the critics don't like it, I won't bother. If their criticisms is it's not snappy, a bit meh, story's a bit lackluster, then I won't go for it. Like visually, it's just not. Visually, it's great. It's totally up my street, but not worth it if the story and the emotional journey. Like if it is just a cat doing puzzles and there's just happens to be robots and there's no reason, which is possible, you know.
Sure.
Then there's no point. For me, you need a reason.
Okay.
And to me, understanding why a cat is doing this stuff just seems a bit weird. Like, better be.
I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not looking into it that much, but yeah, I mean, it's an indie game, platformer game. Like, I'm always curious to check those things out because they're very hit and miss. You're right. Like in terms of when it comes to 3D platformers to this sort of quality, to get to this sort of bar of quality, it's like, is something else going to suffer in the way? I hope not. Like, I hope the game comes out and it's great, but it's an unfortunate sort of byproduct of these sorts of games where like other things sort of suffer if a game looks really good, but then you get the pixel art indie games that, you know, don't look as fantastic, but the gameplay is crunchy and tight and awesome. So it's finding that sort of good balance to it, but it's the one I'm most curious about. But overall, not a bad state of play. I thought it was really good. Probably the best one that they've had so far, like I was saying. Solid. Really, really solid. But I guess like we should sort of wrap this thing up, and I wanted to get your... like out of all the games, which one are you most curious about? What are you most excited about picking up?
It's probably Season for me. Just because it looks beautiful and different.
Yeah.
I want that. If that one is as good as it looks in terms of gameplay, it could be really special. It could be something super, super special. What about you?
Yeah, it's split for me. I think I'm leaning towards Stray being the one that I'm most curious about playing. But like a very, very close second is the Callisto game. Like,
yes.
I mean, just now that I know that it's made by the same people that did Dead Space.
I'm even more hyped for it now.
Yeah, Callisto Protocol.
This is a tricky one because there's like, you know, Roller Dome as well, Stray. They're all up there for me. This is a really tricky one to it's close call, and usually that's not the case.
It's very cut and dry. Normal.
For half hour state of play, there's usually a few things that's like, yeah, that's kind of cool. But this was like really good one.
Yeah,
so
bangers.
If this is like the start of the season, then it's gonna be a good season. Lots of stuff to want to play.
Indeed. Yeah. So we've got coming up next week. Is it? I'm not sure. Is it next week? On the 12th, yes, it's this time next week. So we will be recording our episode and we might be doing a live stream actually for it instead. So if you are interested in the episode, then make sure you like and subscribe, because we're going to be going live to sort of cover the Xbox showcase, which is, it's going to be a big one because they're not going to do it piecemeal like Sony are apparently doing it. They're just going to be doing a full blowout. So I'm really curious to see what those guys are up to and see what they sort of show off. So we'll be going live. It sort of lands at about the same time that we normally do our episodes anyway. So it'll be a good one to sort of see now that we're in the season. So this is the game of Christmas, as they call it. So strap in, guys. It's gonna be a good one. I think Xbox have got a few things to show. We're absolutely going to be seeing some hitters. So yeah. Hopefully we see more.
6 o'clock UK time, so that's perfect timing. Yeah,
banging, perfect. Yeah. So we'll be going live like next week. So make sure you stay notified for us so we can keep you updated on when we are actually going live. But yeah, is there anything else that you want to go over before we finish up?
No, I've not really been playing many games because I had a holiday this week. Have you been playing anything noteworthy?
I have, but I'll leave it for now because we're already at like an hour 20. So like I'm not going to go into it too much. And I haven't finished the game yet either. So like I'd prefer to finish it up and then we'll be able to like have a good chat about it when I actually have finished it. But yeah.
No problem. Yep.
Cool.
We'll do the closing stuff then. So yeah, let us know what you think. What was your favorite game? Comment, like and subscribe to the video. Helps us out a lot. The bell notification lets you know when we're going to get a new video out. It's usually, it's a bit weird. It's usually a Sunday night, but it could be a Monday morning. But then it's weekly. We do a weekly podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Normally, like checking on Mondays, it's normally up by then.
Yes. Yeah. The HD version usually is on a Monday anyway. So
Indeed.
Yeah. Monday treat for you. But where can we find all your indie game stuff, Long Gone Game, and your art, Vin? Where can we find that?
Yep, you can find me on Twitter at Hillfort Games. That's where I update the most stuff, I guess. But I'm also just about to start up my devlog for Long Gone as well, so you can check it out on YouTube. Just search Hillfort Games. Like you'll be able to find the trailer to Long Gone on there. So please like and subscribe on there, and then you'll be able to sort of see what I'm up to with that. If you are into concept art, though, then you can find me on ArtStation. I am Vin Hill Art on there. So all of my Ubisoft concept art stuff is on there. Like I've done work for Rainbow Six Extraction, Assassin's Creed, and Watch Dogs. Like there's a load of stuff on there. So go and check that out if you're into that. But for the most part, I'm on Twitter. So at Hillfort Games is the place to find me. But what about you, Chris? Where can people find you?
So yeah, I'm making a little puzzle platformer indie game called Focus Find, and you can wishlist that on Steam if you search for Focus Find. You could also support the game on Patreon. You can find me on Twitter, which is at Acrylic Pixel, and I've got my own YouTube channel, which is also Acrylic Pixel.
Very cool. Yeah, I should probably mention as well, like Hillfort Games. If you want to wishlist Long Gone, then go and find that on Steam as well. You can search that and be able to wishlist it. That would help me out. But yeah, cool.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, until next week when we're live streaming the Xbox thing. Oh, that's gonna be so cool.
It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. Yeah. It's gonna.
So yeah, join us for that.
Please do.
It'll be worth it.
All right. Until next time, guys. Catch you later.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.